Hey guys, Angelique the Seal here. In today's video, I'll be sharing the exact step-by-step strategy to building a social media marketing agency in 2021. Now, before I jump into the goods of this video, I just wanted to let you guys know about the free workshop we have going on where we are giving out the exact strategy on how this 62-year-old woman was able to make $160,000 in just 90 days. So if you're interested in learning more, make sure you check out the free link in my description. So you're a social media manager or an aspiring social media manager, and now you are aspiring to create your own social media marketing agency. As a social media manager turned agency owner myself, I'm giving out the exact process you need to think about when it comes to wanting to create your social media marketing agency and the exact step-by-step client processes you need to have in place to make sure that you are set up for success. There is so much content out there on social media marketing agencies, how to be a social media manager, but the truth is to actually set a business up properly, and that's what a social media marketing agency is a business. You need the processes in place to make sure you allow your clients to come in and get from point A to point B, and you nurture that journey as much as possible. First things first, and the first thing you need to focus on is your portfolio. If you are at a stage where you are looking to build a social media marketing agency, you may or may not have client experience under your belt. You want to make sure you are building a portfolio of client results you've been able to achieve in the past, client aesthetics you've been able to create, client brands you've been able to create, client feedback you've received, client testimonials you received. This allows you to build trust with cold audiences that may be interested in your services. So making sure you have a portfolio public and visible to someone who might be interested in working with you is so critical to build your credibility in the industry as a social media marketing manager. The next thing you need to think about is your own marketing. It's funny because oftentimes people who do marketing aren't the best at marketing themselves. I think it's really hard for us marketers to separate ourselves from the business to perform marketing strategies for our own business, if that makes sense. But it is so important. You need to think about exactly what type of clients you help. Do you have a niche? And do you offer paid marketing social media services or organic social media marketing services? These are primary things you need to communicate to prospective clients first and foremost. Social media marketing is such a huge umbrella, so you want to get super specific in what you offer and communicate that across your social media, across your website, across whatever content it is that you create, because this allows people to really know that you could help them. The more niche down you get, the more you can actually talk to a specific person's pain point. If you just offer everything to everyone, you're actually offering nothing to nobody. So you need to figure out ways you can actually address a specific client's problems and how you're going to solve them. So the more niche down you get, the better it is. And then once you figure out the exact clients that you want to help, you'll need to think about your client onboarding process. You'll need to have an invoicing system in place because, again, you're a business and the client you're helping is odds are a business as well. And making sure that you have an easy way for clients to make a transaction with you as a business is so critical. If you don't have this in place, it shows unprofessionalism, inexperience. And so you really want to make sure you have an invoicing system under your belt when it comes to building your agency. You'll get more comfortable with this the more clients you have. But I remember when I first sent my first invoice, I was like, what is this? This is so uncomfortable. But again, it is so important because, again, you need to make sure that your clients are paying you, but also paying you on time. And if you're on a monthly retainer, paying you monthly, and that you have some sort of system to track those invoices every time they're due every single month. The next thing you need to think about is contracts. Contracts is so important because basically it tells your clients the exact terms that if they do something that isn't on the contract or something that breaks a contract, it might be a penalty in fees or whatever it might be. You want to make sure that there is a contract in place, especially if you want to have someone on a retainer. I used to offer 3-month contracts on a 3-month retainer when signing clients, but now I offer 6 months and 1 year because that allows me to ensure I get paid, and making sure I have a contract that states you are liable for paying the 6 months if you do terminate early. That protects me as a business and making sure that I get paid for the thing the client promises me. So making sure you have a contract in place is so important. And from invoicing to contracts, you then need to think about your client onboarding experience. During your client onboarding experience, you really need to communicate the roadmap of the project, expectations, how you plan to communicate with them, how often you plan to communicate with them, how you work, an overview of particular softwares you use, a tutorial video on the softwares you use and how, you know, the approval process works when it comes to creating content, and really making the introduction into working with you as clear as possible. If there is miscommunication, especially early on in your business relationship with a client, it automatically starts your business relationship not very great. So you want to make sure you have an invoicing system, contract system, but also a very clear client onboarding process that gives your clients the necessary knowledge they need to know before doing business with you. When I was able to fine-tune my client onboarding process, I found that my client expectations were so much more clear. I was getting less questions. I was saving way more time because I had it clearly laid out for them so that if they had any questions, they could reference a client onboarding packet. And then if they needed to communicate with me, I lay out exactly how my communication method works, how often I check my email. If there's a really important emergency, then I have my cell number. But again, I think it's so important to communicate your working hours with your clients and how you work to make sure that there is no miscommunication from the get-go. Now, after you fine-tune your client onboarding experience, you then need to focus on your client experience. Your main priority as a social media manager is probably to create content for your clients. And to ensure your clients are happy with the content that you're creating, you need some sort of approval process that helps you manage your content, but helps you also manage the approval process of your clients. This is so important because it allows you to manage your project all in one place. So having a project management system that allows you to manage this content, but also introducing your clients to the software that they need to know as well is so important to ensure that your clients know exactly what it is you're creating, what is it actually being published, when it plans to go out, what hashtags are being used, what captions are being written, what images are being created, what reels are being created. And so making sure you have a project management dashboard where you can actually host all this data, communicate with clients is so critical. And so making sure you focus on what are the tools and softwares that I need as a business to make sure that my customers are experiencing the best possible experience as a client of mine. Once you look at it from that perspective, you are then able to grow your business in a much more effective way, because then you're not only managing one client, but you're managing multiple clients and making sure you have specific project management dashboards for those specific clients. One helps you make sure you stay sane, but also make sure that you have a separate area for each client you're working on. When you're building an agency, you need to manage lots of different projects, and making sure you have a good project management software that allows you to manage your clients is so critical. So now that your client experience is ace, and say for example 3 months is up, 6 months is up, 1 year is up, and your client wants to part ways with you, nothing bad, it's just that maybe they need to move on to the next thing in their business. The best thing you need to have at that point is some sort of way for you to get testimonials from clients you spent a long time working with, because it allows you again to build your portfolio, which I mentioned in the beginning of the video is so important, and again allows you to maintain some sort of feedback loop so that you can always improve your customer process. The more you open yourself up to feedback, the better you can improve your processes along the way, and that is so important as an agency owner, because again your main priority is to keep clients happy. And what you need to do to make sure you keep clients happy is to ask existing clients what things they didn't like, what things went wrong, what things you could have done better, because that then allows you to go back into your existing processes and make sure that there's a point in that process where you fill that hole. And so opening up a client feedback loop is so critical, especially owning an agency, and especially if you are parting ways with clients. Once you get to a point in your business where you have clients coming in, you have systems in place, you know exactly what methods need to be done for business to succeed, the next thing you need to do is grow your team. The goal when it comes to finding team members is to be able to find people that fill the holes of your business you no longer want to fill anymore. So when it comes to hiring, you really need to make sure that you have standard operating procedures for every single process in your business, from client onboarding to invoicing to contracting to the project management tool, and how things work in your business, so that when someone comes into your business, they know exactly what process they need to follow to succeed in the role. As an agency owner, it's really important that you are creating processes for every single thing, and also making sure you're writing them down so that someone you hire can easily follow it. The key is to hire fast, but also fire fast. You really need to make sure that people fit your team, especially when you're starting off. Again, if you're a bigger agency, you can probably afford to, maybe not have the best employees, but when you're starting off, it is so critical to have the best of the best. So hiring and firing fast is so critical. When people come into your business and say, for example, you give them a process to start with, they work with you for a year or two, they start building their own process on top of your own process, you need to make sure that if they do decide to leave your agency, that they update the process that you initially created. Because again, they spent a year or two building this process, and then now someone needs to fill their role. If they don't have that documented properly, then someone comes in and you don't really know what they were doing, and the new person doesn't really know what they're doing. So making sure if someone is leaving the company, that they write down the exact day-to-day processes that they've done to make sure that section of your business was on the right track to succeed. So making sure you have a documentation process for all of your different clients, all of your different employees is so critical. And that leads me to outsourcing. Outsourcing is such an incredible tool for business owners to have when it comes to hiring and firing teams. Outsourcing not only allows you to save lots of money as opposed to hiring locally, but again, you might be able to get the same quality of work from someone based in India or the Philippines or whatever country it is that you choose to find someone to outsource to. The quality might be the same, but the cost might be really low. Outsourcing is something that I'm always an advocate for, because if you are, for example, in the States and you hire someone in the States, if you're starting off, that salary price point that might be for the same job is much higher in the States than it is in the Philippines, for example. So if you're starting off and you're starting to build your agency, I'm a very big advocate for outsourcing. So that is essentially the exact step-by-step process that I have and that I feel like is the main priority when it comes to building your own agency. You need to start off with your portfolio, building trust with a cold audience before they even come in. The next thing you need to think about is your marketing strategy. What are you offering to clients? How are you getting clients to come in? And then from there, how are you onboarding them? Do you have an invoicing system, a contract system? Are you explaining the entire process of working together while you're onboarding them? And then from there, moving on to your actual client experience. What is the approval process? What project management tools do you need to actually make sure that all of your projects are on track to succeed? How are your clients being supported, and what's your communication method? Are you having weekly meetings, monthly meetings, bi-weekly meetings? Are you talking on Slack, or are you talking via email? Communicating those things throughout the client experience is so important. From there, opening up a client feedback loop if you do decide to part ways with your clients in the future, so that you can always improve as an agency owner, and then from there growing your team. Looking for ways people can fill the holes of your business so you're no longer wearing all of the hats as the agency owner, as a marketeer, as a technician, as the implementer, as the project manager, as a customer success manager. If you want to build a successful agency, you need to give parts of your business away to other people to manage so that you can focus on the thing you do best. That is essentially the main process when it comes to building your own social media marketing agency. I know it's a lot to take in, but I promise that once you have each of these different stages that I mentioned in this video, then I promise you that you will be on track to succeed as an agency. Processes is everything in business. Making sure you have that as a social media marketing agency owner is super critical to make sure everyone is happy, not only you, but your customers as well as your employees when you get to that point. So I hope you liked this video and that you found this video valuable. If you did, make sure you give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and hit the notification bell to make sure you get notified every single time I post. Again, I know I mentioned it in the beginning of this video, but if you're looking for ways to make money online, make sure you check out the free workshop in my description to find out more about how this 62-year-old woman was able to make $160,000 in just 90 days. So make sure you check the link in my description to find out more. Thanks so much for being here. Thanks so much for watching until the end, and I'll see you guys in the next
Oh,